Hello guys! Today we're making our latest pattern, the trail trouser. For this tutorial we're just gonna jump straight into the sewing. There's a few steps that might be confusing, and the first one is the knee tucks. You simply start by folding the trouser piece over itself where your notches are, making sure the notches meet up and the trouser leg is straight along the grain line on the outer side. You're just going to sew a straight stitch from the notch and in towards the knee on each side. And I'm making mine 4 centimeters, but you could also make them the seam longer if you are making a larger size trouser. And then you'll press these upwards, and you could also finish them with a top stitch. And now I'm just prepping my mock fly. This is also maybe a confusing part because there is no zipper fly on these trousers, they are elasticated. But I like to make a mock fly just to, if you wear a sweater over the trousers, it looks like proper trousers with a zipper. So I just overlock both of the curves and then place it right sides together on the trouser and sew a straight stitch. And then I overlock the entire crotch curve, and I press the fly piece away from the trouser piece and sew a support stitch just to make it secure and stay in place. You could also replace all of the overlocked seams with bias binding. That would be a really nice finish on the inside of the trouser. When you have repeated this for both fly pieces and front leg pieces, you can add the patch pockets. If you are going to make view A with the inseam pockets, I might make a separate tutorial for this, just for the inseam pockets. Let me know if that's something you want me to make. And for these ones, I am just going to do a single top stitch on the pockets themselves, but I'm doing a double top stitch on the top fold of the pockets, or the diagonal line of the patch pocket. I'm now prepping the back pocket flaps, and I added an interfacing to this fabric because it's kind of crinkly and it's a linen cotton blend, so it's very soft, and I can imagine these flaps would be very crinkly. When making the flaps, you first fold them in half, right sides together, and sew a straight line on each side. You then flip them the right side out and you sew a top stitch around the edge. This could be a double top stitch if you wanted. I didn't do that on these ones. And then you fold the side with the raw edges inwards about 1 centimeter. And they are ready to put on the trouser. When placing the back pocket onto the trouser, I place them in the center of the back piece with 8 centimeters from the top of the trousers at the outer edge and 1 centimeter more, so 9 centimeters at the inner edge, just because I find it more flattering when it's not completely straight aligned to the waistband. Again, it could be a double top stitch. I'm just doing a single top stitch on this one. But for the pocket flap, you'll do 1 top stitch first to fasten the flap, and then do one more about 1 centimeter down to enclose the raw edge. And now we're going to attach the front to the back. So place them right sides together and sew a straight stitch along the outer leg, making sure that the knee tucks are faced upwards. And then we're going to overlock this seam and press it towards the back of the trouser, and then you can top stitch this with either 1 or 2 seams. And then we'll do the same to the inseam. So place the trouser again right sides together and sew a straight stitch along from the crotch to the ankle, making sure that the tucks again are faced upwards. And then overlock this seam and top stitch again. For this top stitch, it can be quite fidgety to sew, but just take your time and make sure that you don't sew over fabric you're not supposed to. Okay, now we have 2 trouser legs. So let's make a trouser. We're going to start off by turning one trouser leg right side out and placing it inside of the other one, making sure that the inseam and the fly piece are matched up. And then sew a straight stitch along the crotch seam and the fly piece. You can overlock the remaining crotch curve, overlapping some of the previous overlock seam just to secure everything. Okay, our pieces are now attached together and we can press the seam allowance to the left, including the fly pieces, and then pin the fly pieces to the trouser front, and we're going to sew a top stitch along the curve of the fly. And afterwards we're going to top stitch the entire crotch seam, and I'm very sorry about the lighting. I still don't have curtains in my studio, and I promise I will sort this out next time. And now we're going to make the waistband. I have already pressed this in half just to make a crease where it's going to be folded later, as well as a 1 centimeter fold along what is going to be the raw edge of the waistband after fastening it to the trouser. And I'm sewing the short sides together and the elastic. And now I'm placing the waistband right sides to the wrong side of the trouser, inside of the trouser, and finding the center of the waistband and the center back. And I'm starting there. And I'm sewing a straight stitch along the entire circumference of the trouser. And now I'm sewing my buttonholes. If you are going to make view B with the belt, you're going to place the belt inside of the waistband before sewing it shut, just because it's a lot easier than threading the belt afterwards. But for this one, I'm just doing a drawstring. Now we're going to place the elastic within the waistband and enclosing everything. I like to do it this way just because of habit instead of threading the elastic after. I find it's easier to not twist the elastic this way. But of course, if you have a favorite way that you prefer to attach a waistband and the elastic, you can just do it your way. Since I'm doing a drawstring on this one, I'm going to sew 2 straight stitches through all of the layers, including the elastic, just to make a channel for the drawstring to run through. Make sure you pull the waistband fully out as you sew these. And for the hems, I'm also doing drawstrings, but you could do an elastic, for example. I didn't want these trousers to have a bow at the ankle, so I threaded the drawstring and sewed the ends together. And then I did my hem seam. So we're almost done, and we just need to thread the waistband drawstring. I'm using a threader, and I really recommend getting one because it makes the job so much easier. Okay, so we are done. I hope you like your trail trouser. We really do, and if you want to see more of our patterns become video tutorials, please let us know. This is our first video, and hopefully it helps making the sewing process a bit easier. So see you next time, hopefully. Bye!